It's Christmas time, and that's the time that gifts are exchanged, but for those of us that live on the other side of the tracks of Vox Populi thought, some of us have found ourselves isolated from friends and family because we're very, very different. I'm in that category, and this year I sent a couple cards out to people that I will always remember for their early life teachings, for the inspirations, the knowledge that I accrued from them, that I was able to learn from certain individuals, mentors in my life. So, I've lived a very quiet life, and it's not that I'm ashamed, but the life that I have picked, for those that don't know, is very, very unique for most people, but also most people in the alternative media. Most people just don't walk away from their own show and their own hometown and go out in the middle of the desert. There's a lot of things involved psychologically in this process. And breakdown is not something that I would describe it as. But there's still different phases of whatever I'm in this period of time where I'm contemplating. So I sent out some cards, and I expressed the fact that I still care, first and foremost, and that I'm okay, despite the fact that there's been a period of silence. Now, I know that some of these people supported me and were there early on in Alex Ansary's toddler days, and I know that I haven't talked enough to certain people, and certain people are just shut out, like my father, because of certain falling outs that aren't going to be repaired overnight. But in terms of other things and other people, you know, I want to be able to say hello, and I don't want to be that jerk. But at the same time, on my side, it's been difficult. It's been difficult feeling like you don't live up to certain people's expectations. And certain things haunt you for a lifetime. Certain things I really shouldn't talk about publicly because they're too sensitive. But in terms of being open and transparent and talking about my, being a more conscious individual and forgiveness and things of that nature and grounding out, like I was talking about in the earlier videos, the theme comes up. So for the first time in years, I wrote that Christmas card. It's been a long time since I've written something. Everything's typed. But there's a few people that were contacted. Maybe they want to know more, but the fact is I don't have a phone anymore. I haven't kept up to date with a lot of people. I haven't even heard back from the guy that supposedly has my stuff in safekeeping in Estacada, Oregon. That's bothered me. So because I've moved around, I've walked away from a lot of things, a lot of people, and at times it's difficult, but at times it's liberating to live a different life. I feel lighter. I'm at different elevation. Even though I'm, not too far from Denver, I'm about 3 hours from Denver, but I'm still close enough to San Luis Valley, it still feels like a different reality here in South Colorado, just north of the New Mexican border, just north of Raton, New Mexico. And I'm grateful for this experience. And sometimes in life we need to have a little bit of space, and we need to have that silence. And sometimes there's pain that we have to deal with that may not be that other person's fault, that other family member's fault. Sometimes it's all a matter of just us accepting that things are the way that they are, that we may not be well received because we're presenting contrarian information, because we're talking about a dark grid or a matrix or a new world order. Let's face it, we're discussing fringe material. We exist on the fringe of society. Even the top authors stand on the fringe of society when they look at their information. Is the tide turning? In some aspects of the population, and that's what's important. To hold the light, hold the frequency. This isn't about the whole world waking up. But there's power in creating an attention that you don't want to fight, and that you do still care, and you want to keep your side of the street clean. And maybe somebody will see this video. But this is who I am, this is how I express myself. This is that part of my life. Why I'm a video person, and I'm expressing a lot of information. A lot of people want to talk with me one-on-one. I can't grant everyone that request. I apologize. I can't grant everyone out there that wants to debate me on 9/11 or certain issues, but I welcome people contacting me. But I do know that some of the things that I've done in my life, I don't know how well they've been received by certain people. But I do know that there are certain people out there who do care about me, even though we haven't talked. And I just want to keep my side of the street clean. And I want to evolve as a soul. And clean up any bad karma in whatever ways I can. But what I can't do is be perfect. That's something I cannot do. So how does this relate to you in your life? Let's change from me to where you are. Are there certain people that you just want to say, hey, I know we don't talk. I know there's a difference of opinion on how I live my life, on other issues. I'm feeling supported, but hey, I care. Okay, even though it's been silent, I don't have a totally cold heart. Maybe there's someone you can send a letter to heal something. Maybe it's so sensitive you can't talk on the phone or you don't want to. Maybe you're a little gun shy from previous conversations, but you can't. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that there's, writing those out, even though I didn't write very much, it was the very act of doing it that felt healing. Okay? Haven't talked to you in 8 years. How are you doing? I'm okay. I just want to let you know that. And I'm grateful for some of those times in my life that you were there with my grandfather. And just leave it at that. So think about, remember the whole game of this system? I just want everybody to know, I want to close, while the message is clear, is to destroy us as a society. To destroy the family unit. And they got everybody divided right now over all these religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, politics. It's sick. But that's the realm that the Archons work in. Divide the family. Divide the family. Have people stand out that are speaking out against what's going on. Evil energies involved. Fighting energy. I was just discussing that in a previous video. Let's not let that ever control us. Let's do what we need to do to keep our own energies and our own minds clear this Christmas. So I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people lit up emotionally. Remember, you can ground yourself. You don't have to get all worked up. You don't have to get all emotional. You don't have to get all needy. You don't have to get all angry because someone's not there for you this Christmas. I'll tell you what, I said this on the Vinnie Eastwood show. Let us not feel sorry for ourselves this Christmas. Let us be grateful for the fact that we have been blessed, that we get to live in a country like this. I know there are bad things happening. But the fact is, it isn't your ass. And if it is, comment on the comment section. We've got to do an interview. It isn't your ass that's on the firing line being hunted by a drone because you were born in the wrong country at the wrong time. Thank your lucky stars for that one. Thank Bethlehem for that one. That you got to live here. And all I'm trying to do is fight for our rights and say what needs to be said. I don't think I can topple the whole system, but I know that I have pledged my life and my soul towards standing against this evil. And I'm sorry for the hurt that's been done within my own relationships with others, be it on Facebook or be it family. But this is who I am, and that's never going to change. And that's what makes me powerful, that I am who I am. And I'm not going to let anything stand in my way. And that's the only thing that makes us more powerful than the demonic realms that are behind this corrupt five-sense reality system. Never forget that. Never forget that. They want us to forget who we are. The sooner we remember who we are and remember why a man fights, what he's really fighting in this realm, and not get off balance and get all defensive and think it's about this group or that group or that group. You need to know what's threatening you in your community. So for me to evolve as a soul, I got to be who I am. Who is Alex Ansary? Who am I? Not what does someone else want me to be. At the same time, I can't be a slave to my own anger. I got to ground that out because that can be used against me. So this Christmas, we let go of resentments. We let go of that pain inside of us. Oh, this person doesn't support me. Oh, this person doesn't talk to me. They think my lifestyle is weird. I don't have a real job. I'm a lost soul. There's all types of things that people think that hurt us in ways that they don't know. Forgive them anyways. That's where the true power is. Forgive them anyways, for they not know what they do. I've learned that people see me in very different light. That part is clear. Question is, how do we view others? Can we arrest our own thoughts and go, is this really clear? Is this really spiritual? How else can I look at this situation or this person or why they're throwing their energy at me? Is there a way that I can respond with love instead of anger? That I can harness my thoughts in a more mindful way and neutralize any negative energy that wants to come in and get family members to fight or trigger certain memories of the past. We got to ground that out and take the time to be centered and be in our own body and energy, as we talked about in the prior meditations. To be grounded, run your own energy, be senior to your own energy, and not just be activated by someone else's trauma drama. And that is something that so many people are feeling at this time during the holidays. Don't you think that people might be feeding off of the pain of other people, as we're all connected in this spiritual biological matrix? These are things to consider this holiday season. By the way, a loving shout out to all of you that make your own gifts. Hey, maybe we can collaborate, and maybe there's some things you could send my way, and I can shoot them out some other directions. But here's the thing about gifts and energy cords. Cards are cords. It's making a connection with another human being. So if you don't want to have connection with another human being, you cut all cords. But sometimes those cords can be repaired. Sometimes you need to disconnect from someone, do your own healing, separate, and then you come back and you're new people. So cards are cords are cards. I just kind of came up with that earlier. And I'm basically sending out some cards, not to establish cords, theoretically, but to say, hey, we are still connected in some way. Why? Because they were there for me as the young toddler Ansary. If they had not been there for me at certain points in my life, I'm sure the forces of light would have intervened in other ways, but the fact is they intervened through those people, being either born into my family or near my family, and being in a position of being able to help me at a key point, a key junction in my life. Those things I am grateful for. It's this act of being grateful for what we have and those that were there with us. I'll never forget 1999, 2000, being hooked on drugs, and then getting off of drugs, and then having a spiritual awakening, I guess, of my own understanding, of my own experience, that may be different than someone else. And that involved media activism, and then my whole life changed. I'll never forget my grandfather saying to me, Alex, I don't want to leave this planet until you are on the right path in life. My grandfather said this to me, and he passed away the day after the recording of my first TV show. Passed away November 28th, 2004. I was recording on the 27th. Talk about a pinch yourself moment. So I think of my grandfather often. And I think about those last years he was on the planet, and I think about all the good my grandfather did for me as a young man. And I wonder often what he thinks about me in spirit. Being a country boy, I was viewed as a city boy growing up because I loved Portland. Grandpa didn't like Portland. Look, that city boy! That city boy! I fucking get Grandpa, take me to a bus stop. I'm going to take for 2 hours, go through Oregon City, get up to Portland, go play some video games or something. I don't know, go to the library, get some pizza, going to Pioneer Courthouse. That was all fresh to me as a 16-year-old. I was, I had this thing going on about the city. Now I saw the dark side of the city. Hence, You Belong to the City from the Miami Vice soundtrack. Started looking at things a little bit differently in my lifetime in Portland, Oregon, the good and the bad. And obviously I went off the grid and I saw what the other half lived like. Even though I was discussing survivalism and wilderness survival and off the grid living on the show and taking expeditions outside of Oregon, I was just doing that as an exercise, getting used to nature more and more as I gradually exited this big city of Portland, Oregon. So I think about my grandfather often in spirit and what he thinks about all these adventures that I've been having in these mountainous areas. So I think he'd be a little bit surprised. But do what you can do to forgive and forget and let people know that you care, even though you have different beliefs and different views, and even if you don't talk to them as much as they would like, or vice versa. Maybe they're not talking to you as much as you would like. I've been that needy person before with certain people that I wanted to fix me or whatever, do things for me when I was much younger and had to learn, oh no, you're going to fall on your face unless you do it yourself. Can't be enabled. Cannot be enabled. So we can go either way with resentment over who's giving who energy, love, and time. But let's all be grateful at the same time that we don't live in a friggin' war zone, that we're able to communicate right now and at least, send letters and things of that nature. Because the future still looks grim, folks. Let's be grateful for what we've got. Let's keep an open mind. So have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Ramadan, whatever else, Happy New Year. Let's try to really focus in on the world that we want to create for ourselves. Not only as a world, but independently our own lives. We have to figure out how to do that if we are to be free. Happy Holidays.